Welcome back to MMA Al Dente. I am the guy who picked Raulian Paiva to defeat Sean O'Malley. And I'm here to talk about Osbourne versus Assu Almabaev. Almabaev is 29 years old, 17-2, and he's giving up 2 inches of height, and I don't know the reach, to 31-year-old Osbourne, who is 12-5 as a pro. Almabaev, he's got 11 finishes in his 17 wins, 3 via TKO, 8 via submission, and 6 via decision. He's definitely a submission artist first and foremost. I believe he's got 5 rear naked chokes in those 8 subs. That's definitely what he wants. He's also got 1 guillotine, 1 Peruvian necktie, and 1 armbar. The Peruvian necktie I saw, he wore the guy down and got him out with the Peruvian in round 2. And the armbar was over another low-level guy, but it was pretty cool. He got belly-to-belly suplexed, and off the belly-to-belly, which was like an overhead belly-to-belly, he locked his arm and armbarred him as a counter. Just incredible, and showed some craftiness. But pretty much when he gets it done, it's a conventional takedown rear naked choke. And his takedowns, he's got some Daniel Cormier takedowns, tossing guys around with single legs like Cormier did to Josh Barnett and Gustafsson and Dan Henderson. But on the feet, I think Almabaev is good, but that's definitely his weakest area. He's the weakest on his feet. Definitely doesn't have the power, just 3 TKOs in his 17 wins. And I think he's going to be at a disadvantage against O'Day, just as far as technique and speed goes, and of course athleticism. His 2 losses come 1 via TKO, 1 via decision. I've only seen one of them. The decision was this guy Mamedov, and I think he's 6-6 now, so definitely not a good fighter. I wish I did see the fight though, but I wasn't able to. The TKO I saw, and it's the Tagir Ulanbekov. No shame in losing to that guy. He's a monster inside the UFC now, so it's a loss that definitely got better with age. But I'll say he was mauled, and it should have been a submission because he tapped. It wasn't a TKO. It was a submission. But nevertheless, no shame in losing anyway, in either way, to Tagir Ulanbekov. He's picked up some good wins, but not great. He hasn't fought too much great competition. He has fought 2 UFC fighters, former UFC fighters. Chris Kalidas, he beat in a 5-rounder, and that was after getting dropped in round 2. But Kalidas kind of came and went in the UFC. And he beat Zach Makovsky. Zach Makovsky, who was like almost 40 years old when he fought him, Zach was a very underrated fighter for his day. Very competent UFC fighter who was hard to look great against. Just one of those neutralizing type of fighters. And Almabaev didn't look great against him either. That was a split decision. And Zach, really Almabaev won the wrestling battle. But he was reversed, swept into full mount at the end of round 1 and round 2. So it wasn't a good look. And on the feet, Zach was doing well with his boxing. So very close fight, but it went Almabaev's way. He's definitely a good fighter, but if he can't take you down, I think he's, not that he's going to run out of options, but he's only the dominant force if he's able to take you down. I think if he's not able to take Osbourne down, this is Osbourne's fight to lose. Which is not to say that he can't lose it, because O'Day's got a lot of vulnerabilities, more than Almabaev as of now. Almabaev, again, he's got the 1 TKO loss, and it was early to Tagir Ulanbekov. Osbourne has fought better fighters, and that's why he's been finished. He's got a record of 12-5. The 5 losses, he's got 2 via knockout, and they're to Tyson Nam and Manel Kape, 2 of the deadliest strikers ever, 2 of the hardest hitters, I should say, ever. And they're killers, and no shame in getting knocked out to those guys, but still, no matter how good they are or deadly they are, it still is 2 strikes against his chin. And he was also submitted by Brian Kelleher and this guy Jose Calvo. Kelleher caught him with the guillotine in his debut in the UFC, and Jose Calvo knee-barred him in 24 seconds. Neither one of those was a takedown, back take, rear naked choke submission. So that's good for him. But they were early on. He was caught in these opportunistic subs, and Almabaev, even though he's a much more of a conventional rear naked choke guy, He's got that Peruvian necktie. He's got a guillotine. He's overall pretty crafty, and I think O'Day's got to mind his P's and Q's. Can't get caught taking a lazy shot. Although I think it would behoove him if he's got the opportunity to take a shot on Almabaev just to throw him off. But in general, O'Day Osbourne's going to want to be on the feet here. And he should have an advantage on the feet. Just with his athleticism and great outside striking. He's got good hands but great kicks. And I think he will be leading the dance in a kickboxing battle here. He has some knockouts in the UFC. Knocked out Zaruk Adashev and Jerome Rivera, even though both guys are pretty chinny in my opinion. But that was only reinforced by the fact that O'Day Osbourne knocked them out. He also has some good scrappy decision wins. CJ Vergara and Charles Johnson. Charles Johnson, it was a split decision, but he definitely won that fight, O'Day. Just totally neutralized them and showed, he can mix things up when he needs to. And against CJ Vergara, he looked really good early on. And then CJ Vergara did what CJ Vergara does and took over the fight in round 3. But still, it's not like he completely took over. I just scored the fight for him. But O'Day Osbourne might have fought the perfect fight there. I don't think he, if he tried to go for the kill against CJ Vergara, he might have found himself getting finished in round 3 instead of, losing it on the judges' scorecards and walking away with the victory. But either way, he showed he can fight hard for 15 minutes in both those fights and fight wisely in both those fights. And I think he can duplicate a lot of the success he had against Vergara, against Almabaev on the feet. And on the ground, O'Day, if he does get taken down, I think he's in trouble, but he does have 4 submissions, and 3 of them do come from the guard. He hit an armbar on Armando Villarreal in the Contender Series, and he also hit 2 other triangle chokes against other guys. I don't know. I saw these fights, but I didn't make note of their names because I don't think they had names, really. But how I see this fight is I think O'Day Osbourne has a distinct advantage on the feet. And on the ground, I think if Almabaev is on top, if he's able to win the wrestling battle, he's got definitely a distinct advantage there. I'm picking O'Day Osbourne. I think he, if he was to win, it'd be by decision. But I've bet on 2 different things. I've bet on O'Day by decision and the O'Day money line as well. But O'Day by decision is plus 600. I'll say this, no matter how you see this fight playing out, even you have to recognize the mistake there. They got those odds way off. Decision should be like plus 350, 300, whatever, something like that, relative to his money line. But instead it's plus 600. They definitely got that wrong. The reason I don't love that or any prop bet with O'Day is because I haven't seen Almabaev lose enough to really trust how a loss of his is going to look. But still, nevertheless, I see the value in plus 600 and the mistake there. Also, the value on O'Day's money line as well, because, again, I slightly favor him here. But Almabaev, my pick is Almabaev via finish, plus 215. I think Almabaev, if he was to win, he would be winning the wrestling battle, and I think he'd go through O'Day. And, of course, on the feet, he's not the most powerful guy, Almabaev, so I don't think he would knock out O'Day, and that's what helps me lean towards O'Day in the striking battle. But, again, I do have doubts about O'Day's chin. So it really wouldn't surprise me if anybody knocked him out, really. So that's why I played the finish for Almabaev. That's how I see this fight. Gun to my head, I would lean towards O'Day Osbourne, and I sure hope he wins because I like the guy. Like, share, subscribe, all that horse shit. Check out my other videos.